And this is what is so important and also so difficult is. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it was like to be there. During the week, I always post videos from my adventures someplace on the go. And on the weekends, every Sunday, I post a Sunday Sofatime or Storytime video sitting here in front of my red sofa. And today's video is going to be all about jet lag. So, once again, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking all about jet lag, and this is a question that came to me from Lisa Ann Stickney. So, Lisa, thank you for giving me this idea. It's a really great idea for a travel-related video, and Lisa Ann wrote to me, actually, I don't know, should I call you Lisa or Lisa Ann? Lisa Ann sounds more like what your mom would call you when she was really mad at you as a kid. Lisa Ann Stickney, you get your butt in here right now. Do you hear me, young lady? So I'm gonna call you Lisa, and if I should be saying Lisa Ann, then I'm sorry. I think we'll all get over it. Lisa wrote, to me asking about jet lag, and I had thought that I had made a video about jet lag already, but then I went back and I looked through my library and I realized, no, the video that I thought I had made about jet lag, it wasn't about jet lag, it was about seasickness. So that video is linked in the description below if you want to learn about seasickness and things you like, what causes it, or the things you can do to sort of prevent it and what other people think you can do to prevent it. There is a video about that on my channel and it's linked below. As always, if it's not linked there below, then somebody please remind me to do that. I have experienced jet lag and I have some tips that I can give you. And let me just clear up in the beginning, it is jet lag. Not jet lag, not jet lag, right? So now that we're all on the same page, what is jet lag? Well, let's talk about the symptoms. Jet lag happens when you fly from one time zone to a very different time zone. Your system has a hard time catching up, and then either you can't get to sleep at night because your body is still, or your system is still on the other time zone, or you can't stay awake during the day. And I have experienced both of these things. Other things that happen is you can, totally become you can totally suffer from insomnia. Your digestive system can get all out of whack, which is something that also happens to me. People get cranky and all kind of weird things happen. So it's good to avoid jet lag, and it's actually not that hard as long as you do a couple really important things. So that's what I want to tell you about in this video. But of course, there's going to be all kinds of tangents. So I'm going to start with the story of the first time that I really experienced having really bad jet lag. In fact, I've got two great stories about it. I'm going to pick this one. I had already moved to Germany, and a friend of mine and I decided that we wanted to take a vacation to Miami. It was the first time that I had ever been to Miami, I'm pretty sure. And this was long before I had ever considered ever going on a cruise. And I remember when we were hanging out down on South Beach and swimming, I think that was the first time I probably saw like one of these really big cruise ships moving on the ocean. And yeah, I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, that thing is huge. How can it float? And of course, this was probably like 15 years ago now. Well, no, maybe more like 12 years ago now. So whatever big ship that was, there's already ships that are much bigger than that. Anyways, tangent over, back to the subject, Morgan. I got really bad jet lag on that trip because of a mistake that we made. And so this is the first tip mixed in with the story of what happened. And that is, it's really important when you fly west, right? So you're flying like from Europe to the United States, or from like New York to Hawaii, or from like Los Angeles to Tokyo, right? When you fly that way, the first day is always the easier day because you've had a sort of what happens is you just have a really long day, but then you sleep a little bit in the plane. It's like taking a nap, and then you land there, and it's usually, let's say it's like early evening, like 5 p.m. or something like that, or 7 p.m. And so, it's not really hard to get back into the normal rhythm. You just have a dinner, go for a walk or something, and then you go to bed around, 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever your normal bedtime is. And so that part is easy. But when you're flying west, the really, really hard part and what is really important is that you wake up at a normal time the next day and you get your ass out of bed. And this is why. Your body, when you're living your normal life, unless you work, some job with shift times that are like, 3 night shifts, 2 day shifts or whatever, like a nurse, or a fireman or whatever, your body is on like this rhythm, and it's not just sleep. It's all these processes that happen in your body, and it's a constant rhythm, and it just goes around and around and around in 24-hour cycles, right? And so when you land in a different time zone, your body is still on that rhythm, and you need to trick it as quickly as you can into thinking that this is our rhythm now and everything is fine. So get up at your normal time or at an early time, and you need to get out of bed and do something, because it's really, really dangerous if on that very first day, if you stay in bed too long, or if you wake up and then just like have a donut or whatever and then go back to sleep because you're still sleepy, that's good. You're ruined. You're done. And the older you get, the more difficult it is going to get, because your body is not going to get off of that cycle, and it's going to, in your head, like when I fly to, let's say, Orlando is 6 hours behind Germany. So when I land, like if on the first day I'm waking up and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, which is a good time to wake up if you're going to go to the parks, in my head it is 8, I'm really bad at math, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's 2 in the morning. So 2 in the morning is a time where I'm not usually awake. I'm usually sound asleep at that time. So waking up at 8 is really tough, because my head is thinking, what are you doing? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're not waking up. And your body will fight against you. It will give you every signal it can give you to tell you that you should not be getting up. You should not be moving. You should be going back to bed and sleeping. Like you will feel dizzy. I feel dizzy. I feel like kind of nauseous, like it's sort of like this weird, trippy feeling. And I just feel exhausted and tired. And you have to fight against it. You have to fight against it and stay awake. Stay awake until at least like lunchtime or whatever, until in your time zone, it's time to wake up. That's really important for the first day. And that will sort of jumpstart your tricking your system to get onto the normal time zone. You need to wake up, eat breakfast at a normal time, eat lunch at a normal time, and that will all sort of like start this process. So that is the like number one important thing I can tell you if you're flying west, like Europe to the United States, or from like someplace in the United States to Hawaii. In that direction. Do you see it now? This big loop I'm doing, that definitely helps, doesn't it? So if you're flying the other way though, like from the United States to Europe, or from Europe to Asia, then it is the first day that's really hard, because usually, like if I'm flying home from Orlando or from Miami, usually we leave there sort of in the late evening and we arrive back here in the morning, like around like 10 o'clock in the morning. And then what has happened is you have missed an entire night. Because when we land, it's just becoming sort of nighttime, or it's, middle of the night in Miami, where we just were, or Orlando, or Minneapolis, wherever we just were. In our heads and in our systems, it's the middle of the night. But where we are here in Germany, in Europe, it's daytime. And we have just missed the night, and then there's a whole day ahead of us. And this is what is so, so important and also so difficult, is you've got to stay up. Do not go to bed. Don't give in. Don't think, oh, I'm sleepy. I'm just going to lay down and take a little nap. It's not going to work. I'm telling you, you're going to fall asleep. You're going to sleep you're gonna stay there for like 5 hours, and then you're gonna wake up at like dinner time, and it's gonna be like morning in your system, and then you're not gonna be able to get to sleep that night. And I've been through it a few times now, and that's bad. It's bad because it's bad if it's your first day of vacation, because there's certain things that only happen during the day or that you want to do at night. And if you can't stay up because your jet lag is so bad that you're falling asleep at like 7 o'clock in the evening, or if you can't get up in the morning because your jet lag is so bad that you can't get out of bed until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, if you're like doing a Disney vacation, I know I keep referencing that, but if you're not getting up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're wasting like the good park hours in the morning. You know what I mean? And like, when we did this Miami trip that I was talking about where we got so jet lagged, what happened to us was we went to bed way too early, and then we were waking up every morning at like 5 in the morning, and we thought it was kind of cool the first morning to get up and go out and watch the sun rise over the beach, which is a really cool thing to do, by the way. If you go out in complete darkness and wait and just watch it rise up over the Atlantic Ocean, it's a cool thing to do, but be careful of jet lag. And then we were young, and we thought it would be cool to, go out to some of the big clubs in Miami and stuff like that. But then we were falling asleep every night at like 8 o'clock, and then we would wake up at 5 and be like, dang. So that's what's rough. And it's rough if you're on vacation because, it might mess with your schedule. But also, if you have to go back to go to school or you go to work or something, you really don't want to be jet lagged, because it's going to make, well, for two reasons. One of them is because you're going to be sleepy or awake at very inconvenient times. And another one is your digestive system gets all messed up, or at least that's what happens to me. And we've talked about these kind of things a lot on this channel, so if you're new here, welcome. We talk about poop sometimes. I can pretty much plan when I'm gonna have to poop. Like, I know kind of my regular system, and I think the older you get, you kind of get more in tune to that. This is something I don't think I ever really thought about or realized, like 20 years ago. But like nowadays, I know when I'm gonna need to like drop a deuce, right? That's one thing. That's another thing I experience in jet lag, is that it doesn't happen then for the first few days at the normal time. And you know what? I'm not even gonna count that to jet lag. It's any time I travel internationally, I realize that I can't plan when I'm going to need the bathroom. And that's so, I don't know, that doesn't count on jet lag. But what I'm saying is, the longer you wait to trick your body into being on the new time zone, the longer it's going to take for not only your sleep cycle to catch up, but your whole digestion cycle. And that doesn't even only have to do with when you're going to have to go poop, but it's also going to have to do with when you get hungry. And so don't think, like, if you're flying west, don't think, in the first day, well, it is lunchtime, but I'm not hungry at all. I'm just going to wait and I'll eat something later, because that is not going to help reset your system. And that is the trick to the whole thing, is that reset as soon as you can, immediately when you land in the new time zone. Pretend that is the normal time zone, and stay up as late as you can, or stay up as late as you normally do. Wake up and get out of bed when you normally do, and start eating at your meal times when you normally eat. And that is the quickest way to adjust. That is my jet lag advice. And now comes the time of the video where I look through some comments of last week's Sunday Sofatime, and I talk about them here live. If you haven't seen it yet, in last week's video, I talked about how I can manage to travel all the time, and the comments that I'm going to be reading now are related to that video, including this comment here from Desi Wagner. If I was going to say that in German, I would say it was Desi Wagner, but I'm sure that's not how you say it. Desi writes, Morgan, I really enjoyed this video. In Chicago, it's difficult to own a car because everything is so expensive, and you have to be lucky to find parking. Depending on your career, you're only allowed 2 weeks of vacation unless you negotiate more, which I just think is crazy. And some companies don't even give you 2 weeks up front, which is even more crazy. I pay off my cruises to help with any price reductions, which you can't do if you pay it all up front. Oh, I see what Desi's saying. Not sure if Desi is, if it's a he or a she, or what the pronoun I should use is here, because I think it could be both. But Desi writes, again, I really enjoy your videos. All right, to catch anybody up on what Desi means is I was saying that one thing that helps me travel as much as I do is that I don't own a car, and cars are expensive. They break down, they bring unexpected expenses that can ruin your travel budget, and Desi was saying that, was referencing that about not having a car, and I was saying that I usually, when I book a cruise, we just decide what it is we want to do. We find when the cheapest prices are usually, and then we just pay for it all. And Desi was saying that if you just pay the deposit for a cruise and then start making monthly payments, if the price goes down, you can benefit from that, and we can't. So yeah, maybe that's a good reason to do that. Thanks, Desi. Now I'm really going to be thinking about that. I should ask Josh about that. All right, moving on to the next, I'll go through some shorter ones. Teresa Johnson writes, Hi Morgan, my family goes to South Carolina almost every year for the month of October. The whole month? Great vacation place there. We rent a place at the beach. Good location to drive to Florida. And actually, I think I replied to this. Yeah, what did I write? I wanted to know if they go to Carowinds. And Teresa said, no, we haven't been there. Well, Teresa, Carowinds is an amusement park with gigantic roller coasters. Who wouldn't want to go there? People who don't like roller coasters, I guess. Robert Hooten writes, I have twins. They are great, and I would trade 1,000 trips for them, and I probably will, LOL. But yes, they are expensive and make planning difficult. As for vacations all the time, we get to see a highlight reel of your life, so it just seems that way. Love your videos, and I will keep on living through your vacations until I take mine. Well, thanks, Robert. And I'm glad those are the things that really I enjoy reading about, those things when people say, we watch because we like to feel like we're traveling with you, or we like to know what to expect when we get there. And so I love reading comments like this. Thanks, Robert. And what Robert is saying is that another reason I was saying that we can travel so much is because we don't have kids, and kids are also very expensive, not only because it's just extra mouths to feed, basically, but then you have to pay to bring them with, and then the older they get, the more you have to pay, and you can only take vacation then when they're out of school. And so that's what Robert is saying. Still, even with taking all those things into account, would still happy to have the twins. And I can definitely understand that, and I'm happy that you are happy as well. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out here in front of the red sofa. I hope you had a great weekend already, and I hope you also have a fantastic Sunday. And I'll see you guys next week here in front of the red sofa for another Sunday Stofa. That's like a mix of story time and sofa time. A Sunday Stofa time, or Sophie time. If you really love this video and you want to see even more videos than I have on my YouTube, you can sign up for a level at patreon.com/veryunofficial. It's like giving me a little tip, and I also post things over there that I don't post anywhere else, and sometimes I ask you guys for advice. Thank you very much for the advice you gave me last week. Anybody who was there knows what it was and knows what I did with that advice. And there are some very special people over there at the VIP level whose names are running over here right now. Beep, 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 beep. Thank you guys very much. And also, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you later.